A troublemaking kid of divorce finds a gigantic hip-hop genie's boombox and wishes to make his family whole again.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with Andre,
Michelle, Emily,
And Luis.
We are a family-friendly podcast where each and every week we watch and review a different Disney movie. Be sure to subscribe on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 139.
It is episode explicit, thank you.
That's right. We're getting
139.
explicit for this episode because we are talking about the 1996 live-action Touchstone Pictures film.
Shazam.
Nope, it's Kazaam.
Shazam. Okay, so interesting about this movie. I think when we were discussing it,
Mm-hmm.
we were like, "Oh, what Fox movie are we gonna do this month?" And Andre was like, "Kazam's on Disney Plus. We're doing Kazam.
Right.
That's a dope movie. Blah blah blah." And so then when it came on the screen that it was Touchstone, I was like, "It's not Fox. It's Touchstone," and it kind of threw us off. And then I was like, "Yeah, just like Nightmare Before Christmas." And you were like, "Nightmare Before Christmas is Disney," and he got real defensive too. And I was like,
Right.
"It was released under Touchstone," and he
Yes.
was like, "No, it wasn't." And I was like, yes, it was. And I should have bet $10,000 because I was right.
Yeah,
She
because
was
then
right.
you could have paid me back $10,000,
exactly.
and Andre would have been.
Yeah, I would have been
rewarded.
out. I would have been out $20,000.
And
Sounds like.
then he looked it up on Wikipedia.
Nobody's a winner in that
Wiki.
situation.
Yeah.
Except us.
He looked it up on the Wikipedia, and I was right.
On the Wikipedia.
That's right. I was mistaken about Nightmare
Because they
Before
didn't want
Christmas.
to put it out because they thought it was too spooky.
They thought it would be too scary.
There
which
was a couple things that were
discussed in that
Touchstone
episode.
that I was surprised about, and now I can't remember which one it was, but
I just assumed that this Kazam or whatever you call was Fox because I'd never heard of it until Andre was like, we should watch that.
I mean, I grew up watching this movie.
Luis,
Like,
if you're gonna talk,
I had
talk into the mind.
I had definitely seen it, several times growing up as a kid. But
Luis, have you ever seen this movie before?
I vaguely remember like the intro when he gets summoned.
oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Andre picked this movie
I-
because he was excited.
Yes, first impression.
Okay.
I chose this movie because I remembered it very fondly. I remember it was very cool, very fun. Shaq's in it, and there's magic, right? Those were the touchstones of nostalgia that I had for this movie. And then we started watching it, and it's like, okay, it's moving a little slow. Okay, Shaq is rhyming a lot. Oh, Shaq
I was
is
so pissed.
moving his eyebrows a lot. He's acting with only his eyebrows and no other emotion. And so I will say that this was a bad choice, but I'm glad that I rewatched it because it's a ridiculous movie, and
So
I
he's
love
not walking around saying it's a good movie now.
Right now, I'm walking around saying I enjoy watching this movie because it's ridiculous, but it's not a good movie.
Okay, well, my first impression is I don't think I'll watch this movie again. And Andre was like, "Oh, he's a genie. You're gonna like it." And I was like, "Sick, a genie! Like
Right.
that's so cool."
movie.
There was a lot of rhyming, a lot of rapping,
Yeah.
and 90s music video style.
Right.
And the kid was so annoying.
Oh, you don't like Max?
I was gonna lose my fucking shit. Okay, so and it was kind of slow at parts. Where I was
Yeah.
like, can we get there? I wanted more magical genie
I wanted
stuff.
way more magic. Yeah.
I didn't need to hear him rap. Like I get that Shaq is a rapper. It's fine.
I mean,
Is
is
Shaq
he
a
though?
rapper?
Well, yes.
Yeah,
he
he
Shaq
is.
did release several rap albums in the 90s.
So I think
But,
they
uh,
just like cast him so that he would rap, and then
But, I
like,
mean,
I thought he
he's-
was a basketball
He is
player.
Well, he is.
100% a basketball player. That is
He's a
his
rapper.
That is his skill.
he's also a pretty modern DJ. He likes to go to EDC and stuff.
He is a basketball
He's a
player.
basketball player.
He is,
And
but he
all
does
of,
other things.
all of these other things that he does are second to
They're not necessary.
basketball.
You know what, man? This is still, I think, Orlando Magic Shaq. I don't think he'd gotten with the Lakers yet.
Yeah, you might be right,
I
actually.
think so. Back then, he was still a young kid. He was out there
Right.
enjoying life, having fun.
Sweating.
I've always
Sweat.
liked Shaq. I've
Me too.
always liked him since as long as I can remember. I mean, yeah. I'd
He
make
was
fun of
hella
him 'cause
thin in
he-
this movie.
I'd
Like,
make fun of him 'cause he
damn,
couldn't
bro.
make a free throw to save his life. But I mean, I've always liked him.
Well, Luis,
Well,
then
neither
what's
can
your
you.
what's your first impression of him in this movie?
My first impression of the first part of this movie was, all right, cool. I
Mhm.
can dig it.
Yeah.
And that's as far as I got.
Okay.
Oh, you only watch half. of it.
No, he watched the second half, but he don't want to talk about that second
Oh,
half.
okay, gotcha. Well, the
Oh,
first
okay.
half is pretty good.
Interesting. All right, Emily, first impression.
I was mad the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just mad and madder and maddest. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I liked Shaq. Like, there was multiple times where I was like, he's cute, he's doing fine, and then the rhyming, and I was like, good God.
It was too much rhyming.
They better not keep doing this. And then it kept going and
It-
going, and I was like, if
it
they
kept
start
going.
singing right now, I'm gonna. They're fucking singing.
And then they did sing, yeah.
Oh, I was so
There was a
mad.
rap song with like a.
And it didn't make any sense contextually, like where they were at and why they were singing together.
We Genie.
They were on these streets, Emily. Okay, we Genie.
When you're out in these streets and you Genie, you gotta sing We Genie.
I just need to tell you that I don't. I must. Okay. So here's my problem. Maybe I just don't understand inner city life because I'm. What are we considered? Rural?
We are
We're
like rural
like,
suburban.
We're
yeah.
like agricultural.
Yeah, we live in like a rural area.
Mhm.
Our towns are definitely towns. They're not
Yes,
cities.
They're not
No.
cities.
And
Closest city is an hour and a half away.
yeah, I mean we have Modesto, but Modesto's
That's not a
not
city.
any.
I mean, it's a city.
No,
It's
it's a
got
city.
like 250,000 people.
It's a small city.
Yeah, it's a small city. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's still a city.
I always think of city like skyscrapers. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like,
Well, sure.
Well, the DoubleTree's
But
kind of
yeah,
tall.
there's a downtown area.
I like to tell the truth.
Anywho, maybe it's because I don't understand inner city life, but I was like, what the fuck is
This
happening?
kid's growing up in New York, and he gets to just run these streets, man. He
Okay,
goes
but
out
Number
there.
one, he runs the
Linda.
streets. I was completely confused about how old he was. Like,
Right.
he
He was, like, middle
looks.
school.
No, I know, but he looks
Like he's 9.
small.
Mm-hmm.
He acts small,
He didn't hit
but then
puberty
he
yet.
also acts like tough and old. And then you figure out like halfway through the movie he's in junior high, but then all these hard ass older kids who drive
Yeah.
are like attacking him all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these kids are like
He's
not
like-
normal hoodlums.
He's like prepubescent, kind of pubescent, but his balls haven't dropped because he still has a really high pitched voice.
well, why is he over
And
here
he's 2
fucking
foot
with these
tall.
gangsters?
Man, he needs a dentist, first of all, is what he
Oh
needs.
my God, that snot tooth was
Dude.
getting me.
That tooth was trying to fly out his mouth.
And,
Okay?
he bit someone at some point, and I was like, I just want to see the bite
yeah.
mark.
Show me that
Dude,
wound.
bite mark be having like, it's like freaking.
Gang signs.
Yeah, you
It'd
got
be like it'd be like what's his name trying to be a phlebotomist, freaking Edward Scissorhands. That's what that scar would look like.
Dog.
I've been around middle schoolers quite frequently, and this kid was a shithead.
right.
For show.
God.
Like I think we were supposed to feel a little sympathetic for him.
No.
But I never did.
No.
Never did.
So I guess backstory for this kid is at first I thought his dad walked out on him semi recently. Like I
Yeah,
did
they
not
made it seem like
I did
that.
not get the impression that he didn't know his dad.
At first.
At first,
Right,
I got
right.
the impression that like dad had been in the picture, but dad left or walked out or something, and then he's with mom, and he and mom obviously are not getting along.
Yeah.
And
There's
He
some
doesn't seem
contention
like he
with
gets
mom.
along with anybody.
right, but then like mom has a boyfriend, and
Mhm.
mom's like,
Travis.
yeah, Travis, and she seems to be distracted by Travis and everything.
Right.
And Max is pissed off about it.
Yeah.
And he's obviously having like the, man.
A very mini
Boy
existential
Well,
crisis.
it doesn't make it any better that she's like, I kind of want to marry Travis, but I got to finalize the divorce papers. And I'm like, so you're not divorcing, you're trying to marry another dude? So that's where it made it seem like it was
Right.
Right, like it was
Right.
recent.
So I was
Yes.
like, well, of course he's mad. So at first I was like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I would be mad for him too. But then like halfway through the movie, he sees like his dad's name on the thing, and he's like, oh, his name is
Oh, I didn't know his name was Nick.
his
Yeah,
name
I
is
guess
Nick
he left when he
Mateo.
was like 3 or something. Like 2.
And I'm like, okay, well, that's a development.
It's like
It was
information we needed.
an interesting timeline that they presented with these parents. Yeah, because
Why
like
are you mad at your mom? It sounds like your dad was never there.
like why didn't they just make it so that the dad was never in the picture? Like what was this? He left at 2 nonsense. Like I don't think that needed to even
like
be
he
there.
left when mom was pregnant or something.
Right?
That would've
Yeah,
been better.
that would have been a little bit
That's true.
more streamlined there, I guess. But
Well, and that's kind of how I feel about a lot of this movie. Like, there was unnecessary details and or not enough details where I
Mhm.
was confused about a lot of things that were going on.
right.
Like, as the adult watching this now, like, I guess as a kid, I would have been like, whatever.
Yeah, as a kid, all that other stuff is like whatever. Get me some genie magic happening in here. You know?
Which is kind of how I felt in some parts. I was like, okay, if he's a genie, like, where's the magic?
right.
There wasn't enough magic for me.
I
Like, if
agree.
he's going to be, I don't know, I guess we're used to Robin Williams genie, but like,
that's another big part of
That's
this movie.
that's hard.
is that-
because that's what I associate with Genie.
This came out in 1996, and Aladdin came out in 1992, right? So this, you can't make a genie movie right after Aladdin and pretend like you didn't draw any inspiration from it, right? So
Mhm.
so all of the magic and the abilities that he is able to do, they're almost like piggybacking off of
the words
off of
are
Genie.
literally like they came up with synonyms for what Robin Williams explained.
I can't make you fall in love. I can't bring back people from the dead. You know, they've got all the same rules
Mhm.
and rigmarole and stuff like that. It's very interesting in that way. But yeah,
And
so
he kept saying ethereal, and I'm like, that's a really weird word for a kid's movie. I mean, I've used the word ethereal
that's
before.
ethereal.
But also,
But,
like,
like-
the way that he came about, like, I think I get that they were trying to make it like, oh, he's in a boombox, like, that's cooler than a lamp. But the very first scene is, like, the lamp falling, right? And I told Andre that I literally thought it was a voodoo doll. Like, it had, like,
It did
hair
not look
coming
like a
off the
lamp.
It was
where
very
I was
confusing.
like, that's a weird doll. Why is the genie in the doll? And it was like,
Yeah.
falling. And I was like, well, there goes the voodoo doll. And Andre was like, that's a lamp.
It did not look like a lamp.
You knew it was lamp because they showed the exterior of the building and it said lamp on on the building, and so they go in and there's this lamp. But then also they're shooting it in this like really crappy slow motion. So as it's like falling off of this shelf or whatever, it's super shaky. So you really can't tell what it
Yeah.
is. Plus it has this scarf around it or whatever.
And it
so
didn't make sense that he went into a boombox.
and they didn't show that either.
Yeah, so when he came
Like,
out
if
of
he
the
had, like, if
boombox,
the lamp had broken on top of the boombox, it would have made more sense.
And
But,
maybe
like,
a wisp
Yeah.
fell into
it was
the
it
boombox
was
or
weird.
whatever.
It was weird.
Yeah, a missed detail as you said.
For sure.
So yeah, the movie starts. We see Max. He's a little shit, right? He's going around. He's a shit at school. He's a shit at home, and he is not happy.
He's a turd. He's always going to detention.
He's
he deserves to be beat up by these little
oh yeah the
street youths.
the bullies, the street
Street
youths,
youth.
the street youths. They accost him in the school bathroom or whatever, and they're gonna mess him up. And
Is this awful? I'm like, is this what inner city bathrooms look like at schools? And Louis like, yeah, all
Yeah,
that
dude.
graffiti, that's exactly what it looks like. I'm like, I've never seen graffiti inside before. What is this?
oh yeah, it looks like a Walmart bathroom in all these kids' schools for
So
sure.
ridiculous.
For sure. So yeah, they're
I'd
accosting
never
him.
go to the bathroom at school. Not because of the graffiti, but like you get freaking gang raped in there.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't go in then because of the bullies, you know.
School bathrooms are the worst.
So he has to like talk his way out of this ass whooping he's about to get, and he's like, "Oh, you guys, you don't even want to mess with me. I don't got no money in my wallet. What you should do is go to this store that's down the street and go up to the second floor. You go to the locker. All you gotta do is have the key, and then you got the mother load." And they're like, "We totally believe you. Yeah, let's do it. Let me take
Gold
the key
chains
from you."
and
Cool.
gold
Yeah, I don't know
tennis bracelets.
what he promised them, but it was good enough for them to take
Well,
the
that's
key
what was so
and leave him
dramatic. I
alone.
was like, really? You guys are dumb bullies if
Yeah.
you like believe that.
And then he goes back to the classroom, and then the lady's like, "Where's the key to the supply closet?" And he's like, "I left it in the door, dude. I don't know." He's a very miniature snaggletooth Han Solo. He's just talking his way out of every situation.
How
that he's
dare
in.
you
not
compare
even
him
to Han Solo.
to Harrison Ford?
I was gonna say,
You take that and you freaking
shove it up your butt.
Yeah,
I
shove
take
it up your
back,
butt.
but he does have a big best friend. You know what I'm saying? It's very Han Solo like.
kind of. Damn
We're
it.
gonna move on from that analogy.
Okay, so
You're lucky it's your birthday week. I'd make you record outside.
Oh goodness, this recording
It's cold
outside.
outside.
It's cold out there. He goes home. His mom is saying like, "When am I gonna get married?" Ha, ha, ha. And he's very upset by this.
And he's like, "Fuck you, mom. Going to my room."
"Go in my room. Travis is not my real dad. I don't know my real dad, but I know Travis is not the guy."
And it's like, first off, he's a fireman. Like, back up. If
Like,
you were gonna
bro,
have a dad,
Travis is a catch.
Yeah, he's
okay.
hot too. Like,
Yeah.
and he's nice. Like, he's trying.
I feel like we've seen that guy in other things.
Maybe actually.
I mean,
that's possible.
yeah, Travis was definitely a catch, but I feel like we've seen that mom before too. I don't know.
Let me find the.
I ain't never seen that Snaggletooth again though.
Yeah,
No.
I don't know how much this kid has been
Yeah,
acting
absolutely
since then. The mom is played by Ali Walker, who has also been in Universal Soldier and While You Were Sleeping, and Profiler. Very very much a '90s actress.
She had good hair.
She had great hair, great '90s hair. And then
So did Max.
Travis is played by John Costello. He was in Die Hard 2. He was in Black Rain. Also a 90s style actor. And he has since passed away. He passed away in 2008. R.I.P. John Costello.
Bye, Travis.
Bye, Travis. But yeah, so Max is all upset about all kinds of stuff. Eventually, he goes out, like he
Like to leave for school.
yeah. He this kid
Is
has
this when he gets beat up?
free reign over this entire neighborhood. Yeah, so he leaves. He goes because he read his dad's name on the divorce papers or whatever. He's
Right.
like, I'm gonna go try and find my dad. And so as he's on his way to that place, to the recording studio that his dad works at or whatever, he gets accosted by the bullies. They're like, "Hey, that key didn't work. There was no locker. There was no gold chains. There was nothing. We beating your ass." And they
We being it.
and they lead him on a chase, and it's a bike chase. Very exciting.
Dude, they said we're gonna put this key somewhere, and it's not back in Mrs. Who's pocket.
That's right. So
Yeah. And I was like, okay.
yeah, putting a key in your booty hole. So
In your
they
booty
they
hole.
chase him. He finds
What's inside your butthole? I really
Your
want to
butthole.
know.
What's inside your
they find
butthole?
an abandoned building. Okay.
If you've never seen that video, you need to see that video.
There's so many, like there's a lot of condemned buildings in
Oh
New
my
York City that
God.
this kid has access to. He goes into this abandoned building. It's the lamp store. He goes up the several flights of stairs. The bullies are chasing him. He makes his way into one of the rooms, and the floor falls from beneath him.
I just kept thinking about all the asbestos.
Oh, my
yeah.
God.
Uh,
Poisoning.
yeah, this kid has cancer for sure. Like
He
it's-
also
it's-
should have a broken back multiple times in this movie.
He fell through like 6 stories
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
this building. And he's just like, "Oh, wow, there's a lot of cardboard down here. I guess I'm okay."
He has like 9 lives.
Yeah, so he falls all the way down. The bullies are still after him. They're coming down the stairs.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, the bullies aren't just like, just leave him. Like,
Right, yeah. He's
been through
obviously dead. So our job is done here.
Bruh.
But they're coming down the stairs to wail on his lifeless body or whatever. So
Bet.
while he's down there, he hides
Bet.
under a piece of cardboard and accidentally slaps a boombox. And that boombox
Accidentally.
holds the power of Kazaam, right? So
Shazam!
so
I am Kazoo.
yeah, the boombox starts whispering and whatnot, and then Shaq appears in a magical fashion, and he starts rhyming right out the gate.
I was so pissed,
I
dude.
Dude,
I
it
can't
was-
even
it was
repeat
so
any of it.
much.
Like I wish I knew some of these lines.
Blam. From Egypt. Blam.
It's basically just like that. Some of the rhymes.
Just in a blam.
Some of the rhymes are not great. They're not like fantastic rhymes. Oh yeah, here it goes. I got the quote. "Who dare to wake me? Ain't gonna name this a mystery. Don't want to do time on your wishes 3. Watch it, boy. You don't want to diss me." So it's a lot of that, you know.
A lot of that.
It's like a lot of that. This quote is like a paragraph long
No thanks.
of just rhymes, and that's only the first time he rhymes. So he scares off the rest of these kids. Max is there. He's like, "Oh, what's going on with you? You're a big weirdo." And he's like, "Make your wishes. I'm gonna get out of here." And Max is not buying that this dude is a genie or has any magical powers. eventually he convinces him to make a wish, and Max wishes for like an Audi or something like that, some kind of fancy car, BMW maybe.
I thought you meant like an Audi belly button.
Audi belly button. He's tired of this innie, you know?
An Audi.
Should have been like Audi of that tooth. It wasn't
I know, fix my
trying
teeth,
to be
bro.
any.
Right, yeah. You think that
That's funny.
wish would have come up. He wished for a black Jaguar XKE. And Kazaam, when he tries to grant this wish, he puts out his fingers and nothing's happening, and he puts out his fingers again and nothing's happening, and Max is like done at this point. He walks away, and then like a little
Max
bit of
kids
juice
gotta
comes
stop
out of
talking to strangers.
Shaq's fingers, and he's like, yeah, I almost got it, and then he like gets whisked away back into his boombox or something like that. I don't know.
That was weird. Like, and then like, what I was expecting him to turn into a panther, and you don't really see what happens. Like, what the heck?
It's really weird. Like, there's not really an explanation for the fact that his powers don't work, except for he's rusty because he's been in the lamp for
Yeah, well, that's
thousands
an
of years.
assumption. It doesn't say that
But they
at
definitely
all.
don't say that. And also, that doesn't make any sense because that's how genies work, is that you go in the lamp, you come out, you grant the wishes, you go back in the lamp. It's not like you're going to need 72 hours before all your powers work, and then you can go back in the
I
lamp.
very much thought he was going to, like, conjure a jaguar.
Right.
Like a black
A
jaguar.
yeah. A
like
cat.
like a cat. Yeah,
Mhm.
not like the like, and that was going to be the funny with it. It was like, I mean, I got you a
would've
black
been-
jaguar.
Yeah, that would have been
Oops.
funny.
Yeah, it's genie stuff, right? The bite the hand that
The
feeds you or
literal.
whatever. Yeah, but no, he just disappears into a poof of smoke, and then the bullies are there and they beat the crap out of little Max or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He goes home. He
He
talks to
could
his
have looked
mom.
worse.
Yeah, honestly, they didn't rough him up too much. He got a little mark. It
The
wasn't
mom
even
is
a
like, oh my
black
God,
eye.
what happened to him? Like, I don't even see what happened.
Yeah, they didn't show it until like the next couple of cuts or whatever. Yeah, the
Also,
mom's
these bullies
upset.
don't give up. I was like, Jesus, he just fell
Relentless.
4 stories.
And he looks like he's 10 years old. I don't know why they're messing with him so much.
Like, did he steal your drug money? Like, what is
right,
happening?
go steal something else, you dummies. Why don't you
just don't
bother a rich
understand.
kid? How about get some paper, dog? So I think this is when Travis comes over and he's trying to console Max because he's been beat up by these bullies or whatever. And this is where we see that Travis is like a pretty good guy. You know, he's like, Max, I'm not trying to like take the place of your father. I could never do that, even though he's never been here literally ever, and you don't have a father figure in your life. But you know, if you ever need to talk, you can always come to me. I'm always here for you or whatever. Max like, get out of my room.
The whatever.
He was
father
being Luke
figure
Skywalker, honestly.
Yes.
wasn't that bad.
Yeah. It's not true. It's not possible. So Max goes.
Wow.
He goes to. Does he go to the studio next? I believe. Oh, first he goes to his
Into his underwater lair.
Yeah, he's got like a fortress of solitude in a different abandoned building, right? He just has this warehouse that he has full access to. He's got a chair in there. He's got a couple bikes just laying
It's just
around.
very weird.
It's like, how did you? No one.
There's electricity.
Right. No one else has property ownership over this building or whatever. Anyway,
Why are there no homeless people hanging out in here?
he's got squatters' rights. Okay, he kicks them homeless dudes out every day.
True.
So he goes in there. He's hanging out. He's sulking. And then Shaq shows up once again. Kazaam is here. He's rhyming his little butt off. And Max is like, dude, you're not a genie. Stop hanging out with me. I don't like you. You're a stalker. You're weird. Get away from me. They're riding bikes. And Shaq is like chasing him on a bike, which looks ridiculous because Shaq is 7'1" and he's on like a 10-year-old's bike.
The kid like barely comes up to like his penis.
You're right.
Barely.
It's crotch face the whole movie. You know.
You can't tell me you didn't notice that. Like if he's
I mean, I
looking
noticed
at
that
Shaq,
it was short,
his
but I
face
didn't
is in
think
his crotch.
like
it was that bad.
So get out of here, you gentle giant, or whatever. And so they're racing
And
around.
he's talking about his penis or his.
Who knows?
Who?
homie?
It's anyone's guess. They ride around, and Shaq's powers eventually come back to him, and so
He had to supercharge before.
yeah, he
his
turns
powers.
the bike into like a rocket bike, and he flies around the room. And Mac's like, "Whoa, you got magic! This is crazy!" And so he makes a wish, which is the stupidest wish on earth. Once you've
Dumbass.
realized that this man actually can perform miracles or
It was
whatever,
a dumb
he
wish.
wishes for junk food from here to the sky, sky high junk food. And Shaq's
First
like,
of all,
"Kazam!"
disgusting. And second of all, disgusting.
And then it's quite silly. He asks for that. Shaq raises up his hands and grants the wish, and then a single burger falls from the sky and just flops onto the ground.
Luis was so mad. He was like, "Oh, the burger! Oh no!"
Can't even eat it.
Right.
That's why it was annoying.
Why was
Like,
there so many pancakes? That's not junk food. That's breakfast.
I thought that was pancakes too, but Luis said it was pizzas.
I thought it was pancakes as
there's
well.
I
Pancakes.
totally thought
'Cause
they were
I
pancakes.
thought I saw
Pancakes.
syrup like on the side.
Yeah, that's what
coming
I
down.
thought.
Maybe there were
Maybe
also
we just wanted
pizzas.
pancakes.
But pancakes are not junk food.
Exactly.
I mean,
That's why I
I
thought
guess
they
if you
were.
eat 200 of them at once, it's kind of junky. You know?
No. No.
I like
I've
it.
never done that, but no, it's not
Right.
junk food. It's
Leave-
breakfast food.
Leave me and my all-you-can-eat pancakes alone.
Mhm.
So
That's
yeah,
right.
the food starts falling from the sky, cloudy with a chance of meatball style. You know, it's all
I was-
coming down.
What I was mad about was that I guess I'm just like a non-waster. I just didn't like that it was flopping all over the place. Like, why was some of it in wrappers? And I mean,
Yeah,
Honestly,
so
if
there are
if
loose
I-
jelly beans and loose French fries falling from the sky, but
This
then there are
isn't-
also fully wrapped candy bars.
That
This
really
isn't no
made me
cloudy
mad.
with a chance of meatballs. Okay, if I ordered food, fast food from here to the sky, there'd just be a bunch of brown bags full of food, like from fast food place. Like there's Taco Bell, Del Taco.
yeah, there was a
Air-
burrito that just flopped open. That was disgusting.
Why wasn't it wrapped?
You know what would have
That's
been cool
nasty.
is if it materialized on the ground and then rose up.
Yeah,
to the
for
sky
sure. I would have been
instead of
happier with
falling.
that. I
And
didn't like it
also,
falling.
he wished for junk food from here to the sky, and it doesn't even clear the first level of this building, the tallest stack of
Mhm.
pancakes. It's not what he wished for. This is bullshit, and I will not have it.
I'm not counting that as a first wish, you crap. Shazam.
Right. So he tries to ask for his parents to be able to fall back in love again, and that his family can get back together. And Shaq's like, "That's ethereal. You can't do that. I don't do that. I only do material things. That's the Shaq way."
I don't do ethereal. I can only do material.
That's the rhyme.
So then he meets his freaking dad.
Yes.
So somehow he ends up at, this is what really pisses me off. He ends up at this recording studio,
Huh?
and he doesn't know what his dad does, but he like walks in and finds Christopher Mateo or whatever this guy's name
Right. He
is.
finds the office. He
And-
walks all the way through the studio. He gets all the way up in there.
And he figures out which one his dad is, and his dad's like a total dick.
Huge dick.
And he doesn't know that this is his kid. Not
Right.
that that makes it any better, but
Mhm.
like he just treats him like he's some like stupid punk kid,
Street urchin.
and street youth. And Max kind of walks away dejected, and
Mhm.
Shaq's like, "Who was that stupid?" And he's like, "That was my dad." And you know, Shaq realizes he has daddy issues.
Right.
Pretty
major daddy issues. It's weird because yeah, he does this, he gets dejected, and then he goes back again the next day, right?
Mhm.
Because Max is really chasing this daddy
Daddy
love
dream.
me dream,
Yeah.
you know. So he goes there again. Shaq is there this time, and Max is like, go play, Shaq, get out of my face. And so Shaq finds the DJ booth. He starts messing around. He's having fun, and Max goes in there, and his dad is like, he's being a dick again, you know, for the most part. He's palling around with all his homies, and then the kid comes in. He's like, "Oh, yeah, it's this kid again. Who are you, kid? What's going on? Where you
You're
from?
making
Why
him
you-
very Italian.
Why you? What's going? My name is Mateo. Hey, get in here." And he asks him what his name is. He tells him, "My name's Maxwell Connor." And then the dad goes, "Connor? Oh, that's right. I banged that chick 12 years ago. It's crazy." So he realizes that this is his son, and he appears.
And they have a Coco moment.
Yeah, he appears to be very excited. He's like, "Oh my God!" He's showing everybody in the room around. He's like, "This is my kid. He's got a fucking snaggletooth. Look at him. He's great." and he's like, "What's up, kid? You want some pizza?" He's doing it up. So Max is enamored. He's so happy. His dad is happy to see him. He's having a great time. His dad is showing him what he does. He's making him mixes and CDs and all this.
And like a famous lady comes in, and
Right, yeah. DeBrat is there, and he's like,
DeBrat.
"DeBrat, this is my kid. Look at it. Oh my God, it's DeBrat." And
Luis was like, "This was a real girl." And
yeah,
I was
real
like,
rapper. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who Debra was.
And eventually, like, they get towards like the end of this meeting, and I think Nick's dad, or Max's dad, Nick, he pumps into him like, "Hey, yeah, when you grow up, you could be a music producer just like me, because I'm very, very cool," or whatever. And so that's what Max leaves there thinking. And so he gets home. And he goes like into his room, into his closet, and Shaq shows up. He's like, "Hey, so how'd it go with your dad?" And then Max starts like breaking down, crying. He's like, "I'm gonna show them. I'll show everybody. I'll become like an executive assistant, and then I'll rise through the ranks, and I'll become a producer." And
I
like,
really love
what
that
is
he said
going on?
executive assistant.
These are your new aspirations all of a sudden.
This is weird.
It was really weird. It was very strange.
Oh yeah, the mom was like, "How dare you skip school and not tell me where you're at?" And I'm like, "Truth, Mom. You tell him."
I mean, yeah, that's the truth. She could maybe keep a better eye on him. Well, I mean, I guess she's a single mom and she's working.
And if he's supposed to be at school,
right? How is she supposed to? How's she supposed to keep an eye on this little hood rat that she got in her house? So let's see here. Max confronts his mom about the whole dad situation. He's like, "You lied to me. You told me he was not around, but he's literally like 2 blocks away. He lives very, very close to me, and he's never tried to visit."
that should have been his first cluesy.
Probably should have been a clue. And also the reason I was getting frustrated watching the movie is like, Mom, just tell him that his dad is a piece of shit. Like if you're gonna go through this whole rigmarole of not mentioning him or whatever, now that he's found out, tell him that he sucks, which he obviously does, and he obviously like slighted her when they were pregnant or when he was a baby or whatever happened that they don't fully explain in this kids movie.
And she makes it sound like he was doing some shady stuff even at that time. Like,
Right.
she makes it sound like he was a con artist or something.
Yeah.
So she could have just said that.
She could have said, "Yeah, he's
not a
criminal.
good dude."
Yeah, he's not a good person, and you shouldn't hang out with him, and that's why." But for some reason, she's just very cagey about it and refuses to bring it up, even though it's hitting her right in the face. So I think from here, Max like walks out again. He's always dipping out of this house,
Dude.
and going to hang out with gigantic basketball players. They go back to the club.
I swear. Like, they go back so many times.
It's a lot of times. I'm having trouble keeping track of it. They go back to the club. Shaq is starting his rap career for some reason. Like, Kazaam is, he's like, "This world's pretty dope. I like my boombox. I'm going to start rapping with all these ladies and stuff." And Max tries to go back into the office, and he sees Nick, his dad, being a piece of shit right in front of him. Like, he's like confronting his assistant or something like that.
Up that dude?
Yeah, he's beating up his assistant because he's like, "We got to plagiarize these tracks," or whatever. "We got to make these burner CDs."
And that's kind of confusing because me and Ems are like, "What tracks? What
Right.
CDs? What's going on?"
Yeah, they never fully explain like the bad guy plot that's happening here. But I think that they're either like having people come into the studio, record their tracks, and then just like taking them and remixing them and putting them out as their own CDs, or they're having people come in to play concerts and then selling those CDs like on the black market or something like that.
Yeah, and it's very unclear, which made it like, if this is going to be the big plot point of the movie, like, I need to at least understand what's going on.
Right. And
Like, he
you
said the
don't.
word plagiarism, and I was like, okay, I get it. But, like,
Bad stuff.
what is it that we're plagiarizing? Like, I heard you say blank CDs,
Right.
so you just burn in a bunch of illegal shit. Are you on Napster?
I get, yeah, this is LimeWire before the limes, you know.
This is just The Wire.
so when Nick sees Max in there, he forgets how happy he was yesterday when he saw him. He's like, "Get out of here, kid! Get out! Get the fuck out!"
Yeah, he's
Basically.
literally so mean to him.
Yeah, and he's about to like punch the lights out of this intern dude or whatever, but he has to stop and throw
I'm
his kid
getting
out
this
of the
for
building.
college credits, man.
Yeah.
Back up.
He takes Max and literally like throws him out of the building, and then goes back in to like beat the shit out of that dude, I guess. And then Shaq, who is still inside. Shaq.
Me and Luis are laughing about something that happens later in the movie, but it's funny.
Is it old Goat Eyes himself?
Oh my God, no!
I think we're seeing him now. So Shaq is
when Shaq is downstairs fucking rapping.
Shaq is downstairs. He's on stage. He's laying it down. He's like, rap, ribbity, rap, rip, rap. It's not much better than that sentence I just said.
And I'll be honest, I think what makes me extra mad is he's telling everybody he's a genie.
Right, yeah.
In his rap.
I'm thousands of years old. He's saying all kinds of
He's
fun
like,
stuff.
I was back with Nefertiti. Speedy
Right.
doing those titties. Like, like I just don't understand why he's able to tell everyone he's a genie.
Yeah, yeah, and I think at some point he specifically mentions that he's like not allowed to show his magic to anyone except Max. But yet when he's on stage, he's, you know, shooting lasers out of his boombox or whatever. So I don't know how he's breaking all these rules.
Must be nice.
Yeah, and so when that happens, when he shoots light out of his boombox, a tiny diamond like lands on a VIP table, and sitting at the VIP table is like a Middle Eastern man named Malik. And the only reason I mentioned that he's Middle Eastern,
So weird,
because that is his entire character. Like
it's
Yeah,
so
that's
annoying.
all they did.
he's like, I'm from the Middle East, so I know what genies are, and I suspect that Shaq is a genie.
So sultans go.
I'm the bad guy.
I was very upset about that for most of the movie,
Yes.
and then I think I had to like not that it's right, but then I had to think like, okay, this was early 90s,
Mhm.
and they're just
Just
I mean,
playing off the only stereotypes they can possibly, you know, get to. Or
I don't
whatever.
know. It's just really annoying.
It was a lot.
It was annoying, and it just continues to get worse and worse.
and but he doesn't have a character. Like I was confused of who he was.
I don't know who he is. Like he's
He's like the
Matt,
manager.
he's Nick's boss.
He seems to own this
somehow.
I
club
think he's like a
recording
like a
studio.
black market gang member.
Right. So I don't know if he's just like the black market manager or if he's the studio manager that also leads the black market. I'm not sure exactly what his role is, but he's a high roller. So he is very interested in Shaq. So he has his girl Asia Moon go in and infiltrate and try to like date him to get on
Which
the
seemed like he
inside.
was a gigolo also at that
Right,
point. It was
like,
very
hey,
confusing.
Pimp yourself
Yeah, 'cause-
out over there.
Because the Shaq dude was like, "How did you come to work for him?" And she was like, "Yeah, you know." I was like, "Does he own her? Like,
Right.
what's happening?"
What kind of
Slave labor? Like, what
slave
is this?
Leia? Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my god.
He's Jabba the Hutt. So I don't. Yeah,
He's Jabba the
I'm not as sure exactly what the situation is. But at one point, Asia Moon gets Shaq and brings him into Malik's limo, and Malik is in there, and he's like, "Oh, I wanted to meet you for a long time. What's going on?" And then he just starts eating goat eyes, like it's a snack. He pulls out a bowl of goat eyes, and he's nomming on them, and he's talking about Sultan's Gold, and Shaq is like, "Hey, yeah, Sultan's Gold. I know what we're talking about. Let's go." And I think Shaq takes a goat eye and sucks one down too. I guess that's just a thing that you do if you are from the desert. Does you eat? Goat's eyes?
Disgusting.
It's really gross, but like the visual of him eating the goat's eye is like it's at the forefront of my brain, like a memory, like it's burned in here. I'll never forget.
From when you were a kid?
From when I was a kid, yeah,
Mm.
I remembered him eating these eyes.
Yeah, 'cause
Well,
you
and
were
I don't
"What's
like the
going
way this
on?"
guy eats. Like every time he's eating, it's very like,
It's gross.
ugh. He's not.
Slurpy
He's a
slurp.
It's
Yeah.
quite nasty. So I think on Max's way out of the building, because he got thrown out, he's coming around the back way, and he sees the bullies, and they're there again. They're like waiting in line to get into this club, which I have to assume is for adults only, and these are like 14-year-olds.
That's why I'm confused about how. But these kids drive.
So maybe the school he goes to is like a K through 12 or something like that.
It said junior high, but you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so they're in line trying to get into this club, and Max is there, and he sees them, and they're like, "Oh snap, it's
That
Max!"
was another reason why I was like, why is Max in this club?
Right. Yeah. How did he get in, and why are people letting
There's
him
some
walk
kids in this house.
around? Hey, kid, can I see some ID? So.
Nah, man, I got this 7-foot-year-old next to me.
Yeah. He's my uncle or whatever. So. Max tells the bullies that he has a lot of pull in this club, even though he was just forcibly ejected. He tells them, he's like, "Yeah, I got a lot of pull. I could go in there. In fact, I could go in there, get us $1 million tape, and you guys be set for life." And the bully's like for real? And he's like, "Yeah, hell yeah." And
That's
they're
why
like,
this kid sucks.
"Okay, well, I guess we're gonna plan a heist, and you're gonna help us."
This
and
kid,
and Max
So
is like,
stupid.
"Sure."
the retard.
I mean, I don't understand.
His emotions are all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah,
his motivations
he-
are all over
yeah.
the place as well.
He's just like,
He's lost.
Yes, he is lost. He should have had Travis earlier, you know? Travis has been around when with all this wouldn't happen.
Talk about underappreciated character.
Travis.
Travis out there
Shout
just
out.
fighting fire, saving lives.
Yeah, being a good stepdad. So they perform this heist. I guess they wait until the club is closed, and they sneak in around the back, run
Are there
in.
multiple like recording studios with clubs?
I don't think so. I think it's all one place, right?
I know. So why is it all? That's just confusing.
I don't really.
Like upstairs.
Yeah, it's like upstairs is where the studio is. So they break in, steal the tape
At the loading docks.
at the loading docks. They get chased by guards, but they all make it out of there. They make it out with the tape. The bullies have the tape, and Max is like hiding under a rock or a shelf or something like that. He makes it away, and Shaq has been distracted this entire time. He's like, "Oh, it's girls and rap and a music career," I guess. So he hasn't been communicating with Max very much.
He's a real shit genie, okay?
Right, he's really not good at this job at all, because his whole thing is like, Max, I need you to make these wishes so I can get back in my box and chill out for another couple thousand years or whatever. He's happy to be in there, I guess. But not anymore now that he's got.
Which I didn't really understand. Like, why do you want to go back in? Like, he never said like
it's cozy in there, or like I hate being out here in the real world. Or
yeah, because he was just like, please, 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 please.
Yeah,
like super aggressively pleasing him.
I get, and Shaq brings up the fact that he is a genie, so he is bound to these types of wishes, and he has to serve his master and stuff like that. But there are legends of this other creature called a Jinn, D-J-I-N-N. And this is a person who has all of these magical powers, but is not shackled by the boombox or whatever. A free genie, if you will, if you have seen Aladdin. I think.
See, I was thinking about like Emperor Palpatine and the Force and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's similar. The dark side. So I think at this point, Max goes back home. And he is talking to Kazaam. Oh, that's right, because he wakes up in bed. And
the next morning, very awkwardly.
And Kazaam is in his bed wearing pajamas and his feet hanging off the edge or whatever.
He looks weird
so
in pajamas.
He looks weird a lot of the time.
He's in the worst outfits. Oh, my God. And maybe that's just the 90s, but like.
He gets up. He takes a shower inside Max's bedroom with just like a sheet wrapped around him. It's very silly. Let's see here. Oh, and then Shaq comes through, so like they go downstairs, and Mom is upset with Max reasonably, because I don't think he's been home in like 48 hours or something like that at this point, and so she's mad, and she's like, we're making you get a tutor. I think that was a conversation that they had before. And so Shaq comes in. He's in the house dressed as a tutor, and he's like, hello, and Mom screams. She's like, oh my God, it's the giganticest man I've ever seen in my life. He introduces himself and says that the school sent him, that he's a tutor, and he gets Max off the hook, basically.
Chocolate peanut butter French toast. I'm trying to
That's
get
right.
it. That
He flies the French toast all around the room, and it looks delicious, and he eats it in one bite.
But that was so stupid.
was
Like,
really
why did
dumb.
we need that? Was that supposed to be their magic for the movie?
I don't know. It's so
It
weird, the
was
choices
weird.
that they made. Like, they could have had Shaq doing magic this entire time, but instead they save it for these, like, dumb, silly little moments. And
they do nothing to help the story. That's why it's confusing.
right. It could have been used much, much better. So after this, I think
they go back to the recording studio again.
But I think on the way there is when the Wee Genie rap happens. So there.
Oh no! It should have just been summer break, because he doesn't go to school practically.
The
Like,
school
they didn't
part's
need
like
school.
irrelevant. Like they didn't really need to do, like, bullies happen outside of school.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was just to show that Max is a truant and not a good kid at all. Like, I don't know why that had to be part of it.
It could have been like
you're right.
summer school or something. Like it was
Right, or something with lower stakes.
Yeah.
Because it seems like the police should be at her house, you know? Like, hey, this kid hasn't been
Definitely.
to school in 3.5 weeks. Like, let's go. What's
Good
happening
Lord.
over here?
Jail for that stuff.
So he tells him about being a djinn. Max goes back to the club, and his dad is getting beat up by Malik. Malik is in there threatening him, like, what you do with my tape? My tape's gone. Where's my tape? And
being creepy Arabian night man.
right. So
Which I hate calling him that, but that he's just so.
it might as well be his character's name, because they didn't give this character anything else but I'm brown skin, I have a mustache, and I'm evil.
He's just an evil, like, Middle Eastern dude, and I don't like it.
Yeah, it's really odd. So Max's dad promises to get the tape by midnight that night or whatever. Which I don't know how he thinks he's gonna do it. But
Like, Max and Max's dad are both stupid. Like, they make up really
Impulsive.
stupid, like, lies to
Lies.
try to get themselves out of things
right.
that they can't follow through on.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like, at
exactly.
least give yourself a 48-hour window, you idiot.
You dummy. You don't even know who stole it, stupid.
This is just dumb.
But Max hears this, and so he takes it upon himself to get the tape back. So he goes to Shaq, and he wishes to have the tape back in his hands. And Shaq's like, Shaq is like on a date with his new girlfriend,
He's like mad because he thinks it's a dumb wish.
which it kind of
It
is.
is.
But
But I do like that Shaq tries to, like, save the wish for him, and he's
Yes.
like, oh, no, you don't want to use your wish on that.
I'll just teleport you back to the studio. It'll be fine.
Well, then he gets up there. He's like, "You're saying that because you don't want to be here anymore. You want to go back in your land." I'm like, oh my gosh.
And they have a big old stupid fight, and
Right.
he's like, Sorry, I yawned in the middle. He's
Middle
like,
of that sentence.
I'm your master. You do what I say. And I'm like, wow, power into
Okay.
little man.
Hey.
He's got little man's in him.
He's had Napoleon. Dynamite.
Louise kept saying that one of the bullies looked like Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh my gosh.
One of the bullies is like super familiar. Hang on, let me see if I can.
Was it the Hispanic one?
Well,
Because that's what Louise thought.
There's a Hispanic one with like a ponytail. I believe.
Yes,
His
that's
hair's
what
pulled
Louise
back.
said.
He was recognizable. I'm pretty sure that dude has been in other stuff. I just didn't.
Yeah, Louise was like, it's Pedro.
I just didn't look it up. He did look like Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite. I don't
That's
think
funny.
that was him though. Is it Carlos? Let's see. Efren Ramirez. And he was in Napoleon Dynamite. You're right.
Shut
it's
the
Pedro.
fuck up. It's Pedro. Oh my god.
Wait, which one?
one of the Hispanic bullies.
I don't even know if he had any lines.
I don't know if they even had names.
But he was one of them. I mean,
Efren
he kind of
Ramirez.
looked like this in
That's funny.
the movie.
Dude, I knew that was freaking Pedro.
Good call, Louise.
He literally stopped like the movie in the bathroom scene and was like, Emily, that's Pedro. And I was like, no,
Oh
it's
my
not.
gosh.
That's stupid.
Okay, so we were with what's his name getting beat up, right? The dad,
The
or
dad.
was it? Okay, so one of the funniest things in the entire movie,
I don't think it happened right
Are
here.
you sure it didn't happen right here?
I don't think so, but you could talk about it because
Yeah.
it's hell of one.
Go ahead.
So like is it? Are we? This is pretty much like the. Now I'm confused.
We're towards the end. Max is.
Is this also the part? Because now I'm confused, really.
Mhm.
Where Max's dad gets Max and tries to leave the building.
No, that's later. Right
Okay,
now,
then-
he's just getting
then,
threatened.
Then I'll wait.
He's
Oh,
getting
okay.
threatened by Malik
By
the
Malik.
first time.
Yeah.
Oh, so he ends up finding the tape from him, essentially, right?
Yeah. So he,
And Kazaam realizes that Max is a shit.
Right.
Like he's
Mm.
like, oh,
you
like you
stole
helped
this.
Yeah, he's like, wow,
You
you're
had
a
to
piece of
wish
shit.
for it back. Jesus Christ.
Wow, you really are a shithead.
What a mediocre move that you just pulled. Goodness gracious. So Max meets
Why
up.
don't you just wish for the bullies to not bully you anymore, you idiot?
There's so many better
I don't
wishes
know,
that
Emily,
he could have
that's
wished
not
for.
material.
But well, yeah, that's true, I guess. he could have wished for some.
Can I wish that you
A
stop
brass
rapping?
knuckle or something.
I wish you don't rhyme no more.
Max meets up with his dad. He sees him like coming out of the studio and getting into his car. So he runs over to him, and then they get into the car together. Mom sees this happening. This is the first time she has seen Nick in the story. So she like runs up to the car. And she's like, Nick, give me back my son. You can't take him. I'm going to call the cops. And Nick's like, shut up. Goodbye. And then he just drives away. That's all that happens.
So
That was intense. I would have been calling the cops.
yeah,
like,
for sure.
everything.
Like,
I think I would have tackled this fool, right?
yeah.
Like,
I mean, I would feel like my kid was getting abducted.
right. And is in direct danger because you know that this guy is a piece of shit who's been to jail and all kinds of other nonsense that wasn't mentioned in the movie.
And he really is a piece of shit because he like is screaming at the kid in the car and is like,
Trying to rough
why'd
him
you
up.
have to come back and blah blah blah
Yeah.
and this is all your
you
fault.
ruined my life. And then
It's
Max starts
so
like
bad.
crying, rightfully so. And then Nick is like, oh, wait, you're like a small child.
You're like,
Maybe
oh,
I
well.
shouldn't yell at you or whatever. And then he tells him to like get out, and Max gives him back the tape. And Nick's like, oh, whoa, this kid's like kind of cool or whatever. He gets out, he grabs his bike out of the trunk or whatever, and then he rides away.
Go on, get.
Go on, get out of here.
They did a real white thing there.
Yeah, starts throwing rocks at him. So Kazaam shows up after the kid gets
Every
kicked
time
out.
you say it, I think you're saying it wrong. In my head, I autocorrect you to
Shazam.
Shazam.
In my notes,
Shazam sounds better.
it's a cooler name, and I almost wonder because the character Shazam, even though I said it was a DC movie, he was a DC Comics character for long before this. He's not a genie, but that character is a child that says the word Shazam and then changes into an adult. And so it's not really analogous to this movie at all, but the word Kazaam is just so similar that I have to wonder if they got it from Shazam. But whatever, I don't know. I didn't do too much research on this movie. Kazoo. So they go back to the club once again, right? They get there because Nick is trying to return the tape back to Malik or whatever. And
Malik's like, fuck you, I ain't taking it.
Right.
Actually, I have no idea what he says.
Well, Malik at this point is fully in Shaq mode. He's trying to get the power of this genie for himself. Of the genie. And so he has like cornered Shaq. He stole his boombox during one of his rap performances.
So stupid.
and now he excuse me.
Good
Sorry.
Lord, Andre.
And the big villain time, he sees Max and he pushes the kid down an elevator shaft, like several stories, probably just as many stories as he fell through the floor in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, he did.
But like, this is an elevator,
shaft.
Oh, like he
so
dead
so
now?
kid's dead, Max is dead, end of the movie or whatever,
dead.
right? So
Should have been.
Malik thinks he has full control over Shaq. He holds up the boombox, he makes a wish or whatever, and Shaq is just like, nah, and he like beats up all of his thugs. He just like doesn't give in to this force of will.
I guess he just becomes a djinn, but they don't really explain how.
Well, yeah. So
Which this part is really stupid to me because I'm thinking like, if the kid were dead, he would like immediately go back into the boombox?
probably would go right back into the boombox. Yeah. But I guess if Malik is holding the boombox, then he is in control, so Shaq should stay out. But then the fact that Shaq just like overpowers
His like will.
that magical rule, it doesn't make too much sense because he beats up all the thugs and then he turns Malik into a ball and dunks him into a garbage chute or whatever.
His basketball reference.
It's the one basketball reference that they have in the movie. So the villain has been dispatched. He's gone. It's over. Shaq goes down the elevator shaft, finds Max's lifeless body or whatever, and then like uses his genie powers to bring him back to life.
I'm so done.
I
dude.
guess.
I was so mad.
So I guess this child died in this movie, and Shaq brought him back to life, even though that's an ethereal magic or whatever.
Like a djinn at this point.
Right. So now he is evolving into a djinn. I think because Max had wished for his third wish was
second chance.
right, for his dad to have a second chance. And so because the magic of the djinn, he granted that wish.
But he said something like some really stupid thing about like because the wish was really from your heart.
Yeah.
I was able to do this ethereal wish. Like
What?
What?
Huh? That wasn't part of the rules. It's weird. It's really weird when a movie sets up rules for itself and then
Doesn't follow them.
doesn't follow them. Well, a lot of movies will do that where they'll set up something so that there's rules and then they can be broken, but in a way that makes sense. But this is not breaking those rules in a way that makes any sense at all. Right? So
and then the visuals get real bad.
It gets crazy. Shaq blows up into Mufasa in the sky.
That's what I was telling Luis. I'm like, this is Mufasa.
The whole screen is being taken up by Shaq's eye. It's so weird.
And then he's like pulling away, and then like he starts hovering towards him.
Yeah.
Like, leave me alone, kid. I'm trying to go.
Let me go to heaven.
And he's literally just like floating towards him. Like, this is disgusting.
The way he talks, he's like, it's me.
That's
was
how
really
Shaq
weird.
talks.
I think
No, but it's like really exaggerated in this moment.
me.
Shazam.
That's kind of how he talks. though.
Kazaam.
There's really not much difference. It's like that
Talk.
Office meme.
Pretty slow.
Tell me the difference between these two. No, they're exactly the same.
The pictures
Yeah.
are the same.
I really like your tummy that's popping out there, Lou.
Yeah, Lou's crop topping it right now.
He's a gypsy.
so,
He's a gypsy.
so,
Oh my God! Stop! He's doing belly dancing now.
Did he? I missed it.
Please
Do it
stop.
again. I missed it.
so
No.
the world like resets, and Max is alone in this burning building. Right, the building caught on fire at some point. Right, during the whole villain part.
Just so mad.
So the firefighters come. Travis is there. He pulls Max's body out of the fire. Real hero moment. Real hero stepdad stuff. And Max is okay. He's like, "Where's Kazaam? Where's Kazaam?" and they
I have 3 major problems here. Number 1,
please.
why didn't they take him to the ambulance? Like, you wouldn't just let him sit there and talk to his mom.
They were like, let's go home. And also,
And number 2, they're like, let's go
The
home.
fireman
Hey,
did his
Travis, you want to
job.
go?
Yeah.
And
He's
then
like,
Travis
yeah.
is like, sure. It's
I
like,
was like,
bitch,
wow, you
you're a
just ditched your job.
firefighter.
You don't have, like, a
not
job
only
to
that,
do.
But when he walks out with Max, his coat is open.
right, like what is happening? You went
Real
in there half-cocked?
nonchalant.
he also was like holding Max in the fire. And he's like, you got in some more trouble, huh? And I'm like, get him out of the fire. What's going on?
Get out of this I'm done. Decrepit building.
It's another abandoned building that will forever be home to 12-year-olds, I guess, who need layers.
It's Max's next layer.
Yeah. So yeah, the movie is ending, right? And the Max and his mom and Travis are becoming a little family. And Max is like, oh man, I wonder what happened to Kazaam. I sure wish I had a hot chocolate though. And then a hot chocolate like appears in front of him. And then it's like, oh snap, where'd this come from? And they look 20 feet to the left, and Shaq is there. And he's with Asia Moon, and they're having a couple's argument already. He's like, I gotta get a job. What? About I'm a genie. I'm a djinn. I'm a magical djinn. Max, what's going on? And then he walks away. And,
Also,
movie's
the
over.
part that bugged me the most is that his dad comes out and is
Oh,
like,
that's right. He gets a
something
second
happened.
chance.
I guess I'm nice now.
I was knocked out. I was in a fire.
And
now I'm
basically,
just-
he's gonna go to jail
Yeah.
because the cop's like, "Oh, we're looking for you," and he's like, "You know, when I get out, I want to see you again."
I know. I was
Is that
like, what?
okay?
In 40
And
to
the mom-
60?
And the mom
And
is
the mom is like,
"Yeah, that's okay."
Yeah, that's okay. I have zero context for anything
Absolutely
good you've ever
fucking
done,
not.
especially the good that you did in the past 10 minutes. Like, I don't even know did you change?
Why is it burning? Like, is
Yeah.
this your fault?
The building that you own is on fire. So I don't know. I don't know if you get to have a second chance with Max. You're gonna have a second chance of life, not in my house.
I told Louise, I was like, yeah, second chance is federal prison.
Yeah.
I think I'd go with Malik
You get
down.
to turn
like,
it around.
So that's about it.
Yeah. So that is
and then it's over.
That
I
is
don't
Kazaam.
know. I
Yeah.
would have. And
Well-
then there was no, like, ballad at the end.
Have we all had that experience at this point where we were like, this movie's good. I like this movie. We're going to do it, guys, because I really liked it. And then we were like, oh.
Yeah, I think we've
Like,
each
I've
definitely
done
had
it.
one of
You've done
those.
it. Louise picked the big green.
Yeah, but I don't know if he'd ever seen that.
Oh.
He had
No,
never seen it.
Never seen it.
Oh.
Okay.
I think we haven't done a nostalgic Emily movie. Well, so you liked Smart House, but I don't think you picked it.
I did not pick that.
I believe
Andre.
I picked that one. Yeah.
Well, this is an Andre and Michelle problem.
It's okay. Next month, I'm going to pick all kinds of nostalgia. And if
Yeah.
you guys don't like it, that's your own damn fault. It's going to be great.
Indeedy.
Well, did this movie even make
This money did not make any movie. This movie had a
If
budget.
you didn't know, listeners, is late up
It
in this
is
vault.
late. We may have recorded multiple episodes today. So this movie had a budget of $20 million in 1996, and it turned out with a box office return of $18.9 million.
Oh, no.
So no.
And the
Bad.
worst part is they used all $20 million on Shaq.
Yeah, they use all the Shaq money.
And
man.
they used 0 on the special effects.
0 on the Max character, 0 on the writing. Yeah. Okay, so ratings. Oh man, it's even worse than I thought. On Rotten
my
Tomatoes,
God.
What is it? I want to see it.
This
Oh
movie
my God.
has
Show
a-
it to her before you say it.
it's 5%. Not
5%.
Not 50, not 15. It's 5.
And the audience score is 20.
The audience score is 20%.
5%. Is that fresh?
What's the critic consensus?
Is that fresh? Certified rotten. There's no critics consensus. Let me
It's a
look
5%.
through.
How do you even get a 5%?
By
Wow.
everybody being negative. So one of these reviews says, I'd call the film innocuous, except that Max's gangster dad is apparently an Italian American, and the movie's main villain is an Arab. Do kids really need these stereotypes reinforced? There's also more violence here than you might expect.
Agreed.
Agreed. Yeah.
Agreed with that entire comment.
Yeah. Somebody else says, it's hard to ignore the unpleasant implications of a scenario that involves a small white boy lording it over an African-American man twice his size. Yeah. Early in the movie, Max is like, oh, so you're like my slave, huh?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
Shaq is like, well, I don't like that. And Max is like, yeah, you're my slave, bro. And it's like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, there were so many issues with this movie.
Oh, yeah, indeed.
That's why I was like so surprised that you picked this. Like after it was over, I was like, you liked that movie as a kid?
I think this movie came out when I was 5 years old, and it had Shaq in it, and Shaq was on the Lakers, and that's all I needed. And it had magic, and
That's
that
like
was
all you remembered.
that was
wasn't
enough for it to be a good movie. So
it?
Well, and I feel like as a kid, many of the issues that we're expressing either went over a child's head or
Right.
they didn't realize like the social implications,
Right.
obviously.
it's like as a kid, you see like this kid's getting bullied. That's happened to me. This kid finds a genie and gets some candy. That's pretty cool. And then he wants his daddy. That's relatable. And
He wants his
and
gangster
hey,
dad.
and hey, guess what? Rap is pretty fun. That's cool too. Let's rap the whole movie.
Well, I'm gonna start.
Yes, go ahead.
It is a solid 3.
A
Tree.
solid
3
3.
my lord.
3 out of 5.
3 my lord.
3 out of 5?
Oh, 3 out
3
of 10.
out of 10, homie. 3 out of 10. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
Luis?
Solid 3.
Solid 3.
I don't even know if that's solid. It's pretty shaky.
It's pretty shaky.
3 my lord.
Lewis thinking. Lewis crop top thinking. His belly dance thinking.
I'm gonna give it a 3 or 2.
Yeah,
Like
with
I'm
your
trying to
belly
give it a 5 for the first half of the movie, but the second half of the movie was awful. And then the whole rapping.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Luis and I watched an hour.
How many backstory do you need a rap Shack?
Now listen.
The whole thing.
Every track.
All I could think about is when they were doing the rap because they were like rapping to each other, right? All I could think of is I would have rather been watching The Office. I was like, Quentin, oh, the Electric City.
What?
The Electric City.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
You
better.
guys don't watch The Office, but
Better rhymes.
it's better
that show.
rhymes.
We watched an hour and 20 last night,
Mhm.
and then we had 40 minutes left today. And when we left off at an hour and 20, we were like, you know,
It's only like an hour and 33 minutes.
Let me see. This movie is exactly 1 hour and 33 minutes. Yeah.
Don't ask me why.
you're a
I remember.
freaking weirdo.
Sean
I
nailed
know.
it.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Okay, so whatever. We had 40 minutes left, so we had
Mhm.
however, do your own subtraction.
50 minutes.
So we were 50 minutes in, and when we stopped, Luis and I were both like, okay, this isn't that bad. But then when we started today, we kept looking at each other like, oh my God. Like, we could have just stopped. Like, we didn't need to watch anymore.
And
Like,
they did a wee genie.
like, if we had stopped there,
Mhm.
I might have given it like a 5.
Right.
For sure. But
Yeah.
then it just kept going down and down and down and down, and oh my God. So, yeah, I think I might give it a 3 too. This might be like a 3 sweep. I don't know what you're going to give it, but
I mean, I can't.
the music's bad. Like, that's an issue.
The music is bad. Shaq is bad.
I wanted to like him too.
Right, me too. I was like, okay, well, even if this movie is incredibly terrible, which it is, at least Shaq should be
I kind
entertaining.
of thought Sinbad was in it.
That's the thing. Michelle kept saying before we watched this, like, oh, I keep thinking that Sinbad is in this
Yeah,
movie.
for sure. I thought Sinbad
I
was.
think that's like a common misconception because this movie isn't very popular, right? Like,
Is there a Sinbad movie where he's like kind of like this?
no, there is not a Sinbad movie where he's like a genie. But in Jingle All the Way, he's a mailman, and at the end of that movie, he dresses up as like a super villain who fights against Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever.
Oh.
And you know, Sinbad is in these types of movies. It's like, I'm a big adult man and I hang out with a white kid, and you know, I think it's just an easy misconception to make.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish they had cast Sinbad for this.
I feel like it would have been better if it had been
It would
Sinbad.
have been better. Yes, I think you're
Which
right.
is sad because
Way better.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
Physically, Shaq was good for it, like just
Sure.
because he's just so big.
right. I think those were the funny parts of this, like when he's riding the bike and when he's like taking the shower. Those are the silly, kind of laughable moments. But like everything else, the jokes are bad.
They could have made Sinbad look that big.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Worst perspective, y'all.
I don't think he's
Yeah,
that much
for sure.
shorter. Well, maybe like a foot. So
I don't think
So, yeah.
that Sinbad is 7'1".
this movie is not good. I think I'm gonna have to give it a 3 as well. I would say that it's only saving. No, I was gonna say the only saving grace is like some of the magic is kind of fun, but thinking back on
not
it,
really.
it's really not. The candy sucks. The French toast is stupid. the wishes that Max makes are boring. Like, they're not fun.
It's not.
He asked for a car. He's 12 years old. Like, what are you doing? Get a fancier bike or something like that, dog. Get something you could use.
Yeah.
You should have wished for a driver's license, dumb. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3 as well.
Wow, that's I think our lowest rated.
Yeah,
Was it a 3 sweep?
Yeah,
it was a 3 sweep.
Yeah.
Indeed.
That was worse than Frankenweenie.
Worse than
Indeed.
Chicken Little.
You know what's
Worse than Chicken
worse
Little.
than Chicken Little? You
It
know
was.
You know what's even worse is
Worse
that
than
like
Flubber.
I partly chose this movie because like it's Black History Month, and I was like, we're gonna get a black lead in
no.
in on one of these. let's do it up. Let's get some real representation
I
going.
was like, oh, this looks kind of.
Right. The concept seems like it could be fun, and it should have been fun,
Yeah.
but it was very poorly executed all the way through.
Eh.
So, do over next week, okay? For Black History Month, we are going to be watching the 1995, I believe.
Oh shit! Same time period.
We are going to be watching
Impossible.
the
Oh,
Rogers.
I forgot what it was. And
Impossible.
Rogers and Hammerstein.
Yellow pumpkin.
Cinderella.
Golden carriage.
Impossible. Yes, that's right. This movie
So happy
just got put on Disney Plus.
every
As of this recording, like
Didn't we rent it like 3 months ago?
yeah,
You and I?
we definitely paid.
hey,
for it.
Luis, have you ever seen this movie? Can you pick up your mic?
It's Cinderella with Brandy.
No.
He's not seen it. So if you haven't seen it,
That's your own problem.
sure. If you haven't seen it, listener,
Listener.
check it out on
Gasp.
Disney Plus, because unlike Kazaam, this movie is legit a banger. Me and Michelle just watched it not too long ago, and it holds up. And
I'm glad
It
to
is
hear
fun.
that because I remember very much liking it as a kid, and I was hoping that it would still be good.
It holds
Right.
up so good. So Andre and I actually probably a year we had been like, wow, I really want to watch a Cinderella. I want to watch a Cinderella. But we don't have VHS or whatever, and like you couldn't find it anywhere. And
Yeah.
so finally I got fed up one day and was like, we're renting it.
Yeah.
And there was no regrets. Like it was that good still.
No
so
regrets.
I'm so excited now that I can
Rugrats.
watch it whenever I want. I could be vacuuming my freaking house in my own little corner, in my own little chair, doing chores, okay? Can't wait.
Hey, Brandy's good.
There's going to be a lot of singing next week, listeners. Okay, even Luis. I feel it coming. He's going to sing.
There's going to be a lot of singing in March too, so you best be ready.
that's right.
You
Get
know
ready.
what? We need a good sing.
Sing.
Stop.
So yes,
Sing-a-ling-a-ling.
this movie it came out in 1997, not 1995. So yeah,
97,
get ready for
Wasn't
that
this like a straight to TV one?
next
Was it
week.
like a TV special?
I believe yes, a fantasy
It was
television
always
film.
on TV when I was a kid.
That's right.
Yeah.
This was a TV movie produced
wait.
by Walt Disney Television.
Cannot wait, so excited.
But better than normal TV movies. Honestly.
Yes, exactly.
yeah,
Oh,
the
it had a pretty large budget for a TV movie, actually. Okay, well, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that next week. In the meantime, head on over to @the Walt Vault Pod. That's us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Let us know what you thought of Kazam. I can't. I really can't wait
There's
to
gonna
hear
be
your
somebody
opinions.
in our freaking email again, like, don't hate on.
Don't you
Kazam."
dare disparage the name of the great Kazam.
And that's fine. I respect everyone's opinions.
Do you?
Sure.
I definitely cannot say that. I'm not going to say
I
that.
don't think you do though, Michelle.
Oh, gotcha. Yes, head. We respect all of your opinions, though, listeners. Head to at the Walt Vault Pod. Slide into our DMs. Let us know what you thought of Kazaam.
Creeping
In the comments. You can also send an email to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com. We'll read that message on the show. And if you want to help support us, make sure you're subscribed to the show. That helps get us seen. Make sure that you hit the notification bell if you're on YouTube. Leave a comment there. Also, subscribe to us on Patreon and get some extra content. Emily just showed me a very funny picture of Luis's nose. And head to our Bonfire store where you can get some of our Walt Vault merch. We've got a couple shirts there. You can get it in a sweatshirt or a tank top or a long sleeve, whatever you want. The sky is the limit. Head to bonfire.com. The link is in our description. That is it for this week. We will see you next time for some Cinderella brandy goodness, Whitney Houston style. The vault is now closed.